All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackburn News, where everything is connected. How are you all doing? Good to see you all, and welcome. Ooh, 17 degrees in Missouri, Poppy. Ooh, that is chilly, frigid even. It was 80 degrees a few days ago, and now it's 17 degrees. Yeah. Um, Max RJ says I ate bugs, so you don't have to. Okay. It's warmer in the Arctic than it is in. Andre says it's 25 in Montana today. I think it's warmer in the Arctic. Huh. 25 Fahrenheit at the North Pole. Interesting. Yes, yes. The jet stream is broken. Andre says, I think Putin and the WEF are in it together to bring the West down. Maybe. Maybe. Seems like things are a changing, aren't they? But to bring the West down to what exactly? Or just down? If you brought the West down, like down, let's say there was a global economic collapse, wouldn't you think that would affect you too? You know, you don't want a total systemic meltdown, right? Because, you know, market contagion is real. And it's hard to, you know, to secure yourself off from all of that. So, um, again, as I was saying yesterday, if let's say that's the plan, it's not a smart plan. It's a dumb plan because you try to do something like that to people, you know, just like the U.S. doesn't really have very good plans around trying to control everything and everybody. What happens is you get a thing called blowback. A little thing called blowback, which means, or unintended consequences. Or, oops, yeah, we meant to do something to them, but it ended up getting done to us. Um, Anyways, we're live on Rockfin. What's up, Rockfinners? How you doing? We're live on Colin. What's up, Coliners? Colonizers. I won't call the Colin people colonizers. Okay. I promise not to call them colonizers. Well, let's talk about some things. There's quite a few things I left out yesterday that I wanted to talk about. So there's plenty to go through. We're not at a loss for news and information here. COP27 first week roundup. Let's look at this from The Guardian. Powerful dispatches muted protests, little cash. Despite loss and damage focus, there have been more oil and gas lobbyists than delegates from the most vulnerable countries. Well, there's that. Did you all hear about the fact that there was an app that everybody had to download? All the participants had to download this app, and they're saying, oh, this app can track you and spy on you. And I was like, yeah, like every other app, like Facebook. But they're acting like, oh, you know, this is some kind of. It's funny when the mainstream news goes full conspiracy theorist, right? Oh, this app, you know, has the ability to track you and trace you and database you. and that's bad. I'm like, yeah, like every other app, like every social media app on your phone right now. Oh, the horrors. Like it's funny, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, it's really bad when they do it. It's bad when they do it, but when we do it, it's totally fine. Yeah. It's a bit silly. That I saw a few articles on that and I was like, really? Okay. Sounds frightening. It's okay. Anyways, humanity is on a highway to hell. Cue ACDC. With our foot on the accelerator, the message from the UN Secretary General to more than 110 world leaders at the COP27 UN Climate Summit in Egypt could not have been clearer. Change course now or face collective suicide. Greenhouse gas emissions have continued to rise this year. Research published this week has shown, despite stark warnings from climate scientists in the past. The prospects of sticking to the 1.5C limit above pre-industrial levels that scientists tell us is necessary have receded to a narrow window. Now it's a narrow window. We had a window, right? The window was like 20 years. Then it was 10 years. Now it's a narrow window. What does narrow mean? I don't know. You tell me. Many of the heads of state and government gathered in. Did anybody see the clip of? I was just listening to T-Lab, and Ryan was playing a clip of somebody asking. I think it was Australian Parliament. They were asking someone to explain net zero, and they were like, "Net zero is just net zero." That was funny. It was actually hilarious. They couldn't really explain it. They're just saying, "Well, everybody knows what net zero is," and they're like, "Well, no, tell us, what does it mean?" I mean, I think there's a general understanding of what net zero is, but it is, it is a kind of amorphous goal thing. We're reaching net zero. Well, what does that mean? Well, like, it's like carbon credits, right? Like, our carbon sequestration over here offsets this carbon pollution over here. Yeah, but who's quantifying that? Right? Who's really keeping track of that? Who's the watchdog of that? Who's making sure all that is actually being done? Yeah. That's not my dog, Obsolete Optics. It's the next door neighbor's. My dog never really goes that nuts. She can go nuts, but I know it's a little annoying, and I apologize for the dog barkings. I don't know what to do about it. Let me see. Anyways, many of the heads of state and government gathered in Egypt for the first days of the UN COP27 Climate Summit, where 45,000 people from 196 countries are halfway through their 2 weeks of talks on climate crisis. Everybody just climate change so bad. We gotta fly all. We gotta get together in person. Did y'all hear of a thing called Zoom? Right. Remember when nobody could fly or travel during COVID and everybody was locked down and everybody had to do the stuff on Zoom, and nobody actually presented the question of like, this is a conference on climate change. So maybe we'll urge everybody to just stay home and we'll just Zoom in and it'll be cool. But not as cool as flying in 10,000 miles to go attend this climate conference, because humans we just got to get together and we just got to do things. It's fun. We'll go to COP27. It'll be cool. Right? Yeah, as soon as I said something, it did stop. That's fine. Gene says more than half of all CO2 emissions since 1751 emitted in the last 30 years. Then there's that. So, and emissions are still rising, by the way. They are still rising. So how about that narrow window? That from Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif was among the most powerful. The catastrophic floods impacted 33 million people, more than half of our women and children, covering the size of 3 European countries. Despite 7 times the average of extreme rain in the south, we struggled on as raging torrents ripped out over 8,000 kilometers of metal roads, damaged more than 3,000 kilometers of railway track, and washed away standing crops on 4 million acres and ravaged all of our 4 corners of Pakistan. He told a hall shocked into silence. We became a victim of something which we had nothing to do with, and of course it was a man-made disaster. Imagine, on one hand, we have to cater for food security for the common man by spending billions of dollars, and on the other hand, we have to spend billions of dollars to protect flood-affected people from further miseries and difficulties. How on earth can one expect from us that we will undertake this gigantic task on our own? Protest has been muted at COP27, where activists have sought to put Egypt's dismal record on human rights under the spotlight. Greta Thunberg, the Swedish youth activist, decided not to come. Many activists are confined to a separate location from the main conference. Well, that's interesting. She decided not to come. Maybe she decided to protest flying 10,000 miles, and good on her. It's funny. I hear people talk crap about Greta Thunberg, and they don't even actually have any idea of. They're not actually clued into what she's doing or saying. So it's kind of, it's kind of like secondhand information, right? It's like I heard from CNN that QAnon was, fill in the blank, right? So it's like, why don't you go actually find out what QAnon is about? I'm not defending QAnon, okay, but I'm just saying it's like that secondhand. And I heard somebody told me what Greta Thunberg is all about, and I just took it lock, stock, and barrel. I don't actually even listen to what she says because I just turn her off. So that's incredible investigative journalism there. Anyway, so Greta Thunberg one time famously sailed to the U.S. to protest aviation and flying. She's not flying to this conference, and I think somebody assumed that she was going to do that, and smeared her, but Greta Thunberg is going to fly there, and ha 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 ha. Well, she didn't go. Anyways. Delegates at the conference also faced a lack of food and water. Well, that's pretty fitting, considering that's what climate change will bring you, right? We wanted to have an immersive experience at COP27. We wanted the participants to really feel the climate change, what climate change is going to bring to the common person. So, lack of food and water. There you go. Have fun. I heard also that they were actually pumping AC into like tent-like structures, right? That sounds about right. What we need is to blow a lot of AC out into the open air, into the desert, so that people can feel comfortable. Awesome. And a spill of what appeared to be raw sewage at the conference center. Egyptian security has been out in force, and events for civil society groups have been curtailed. This has not stopped all protests at the COP, however, and the demands from those protesting center on one issue: loss and damage. The term refers to the devastating impacts of climate crisis, the most severe extreme weather that countries cannot adapt to or to protect themselves against. Pakistan's record floods are one example. The severe drought that has left 150 million people in Africa threatened by extreme hunger is another. Poor countries argue that the rich source of most greenhouse gas emissions must provide assistance to the poor that are most afflicted. Loss and damage is not charity, it's climate justice. Nabil Munir, Pakistan's climate envoy, said. Well, are we actually going to see the rich cough it up? Is that actually going to happen? The amount of cash needed for climate finance, including loss and damage, can seem daunting. In a report jointly commissioned by the UK host of last year's COP26 summit and the Egyptian hosts of COP27, published on Tuesday, the climate economist Lord Stern calculated that about $2 trillion a year would be needed by 2030 for the entire developing world. That is a lot of money. 2 trillion? 2 trillion? That is just an astronomical. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. I'm over. I'm really over like these budgets, right? $50 billion to Ukraine. They're like to, help them out. Ukraine does not even need 50, whatever they're doing in Ukraine doesn't cost $50 billion. I can tell you that much. And I can tell you that 2 trillion is not. So, I think they just say these numbers to make it seem like shocking. I bet you could really help the climate crisis in poorer nations with a lot less than $2 trillion. That's just a ridiculous number. But again, that's just a number to say so they can like, whoa, we're sending $1 trillion over here. And everybody will be like, cool. And then you don't know where that $1 trillion is going. You have no idea where that $1 trillion is going. However, that amount is not substantially more than what would be needed to invest in those economies in any case using fossil fuels. Why are we investing in economies? Economies are the things that are killing the planet. So let's stop investing in economies. How about that? How about we invest in birth control and overpopulation awareness and let's invest in anti-economies, right? What we need to invest in is anti-economies. I know it sounds weird. But, just, follow along if you dare. Despite the focus on loss and damage, there's been little cash forthcoming at the conference so far. The UK said it would allow some debt payment deferrals for countries hit by climate disasters, while Austria and New Zealand put forward funding for loss and damage, and John Kerry, the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, unveiled a plan to use carbon offsetting to raise cash. Awesome. Carbon offsetting, another giant scam, financial scam. Carbon offsets are a giant financial scam, so... maybe somebody on Twitter can buy a blue check and point out and start saying some stuff about carbon offsets being a scam. We're going to talk about some funny stuff that's been going on Twitter. Actually funny and great. Oil and gas companies are enjoying an unprecedented bonanza amid record fossil fuel prices sent soaring by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Oh, we have a crisis. What climate change? They have sent lobbyists to COP27 in force. There are more than 600 of them enjoying access to the talks, according to an analysis by Global Witness published on Thursday. That is more than the delegations of many of the most vulnerable countries combined. Yeah. And also, COP27, sponsored by Coca-Cola. At COPs, sometimes the most telling outcome is one that is not even on the agenda. That could well be the case for COP27 in the form of a drastic overhaul of the world's public financial institutions. Hear, hear. The World Bank and other multilateral development banks, along with the International Monetary Fund and the World Trade Organization, were created at the Bretton Woods Conference in the final days of the Second World War. They were intended to foster international economic cooperation, and look at all the good they've done. Dispense aid to countries that need it, and oil the wheels of public finances. But the world has changed since 1944, as Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, pointed out. Institutions crafted in the mid-20th century cannot be effective in the third decade of the 21st century, she said. They do not describe 21st century issues. Climate justice was not an issue then when the bank was set up. The World Bank has come under increasing fire at COP27 from countries that believe it is failing on climate finance. They argue that overall spending is too low, too much of it is in the form of loans rather than grants, and too much is directed towards middle-income countries rather than the poorest. Anyways, yeah, well, this is just a money go-round. Max RJ, the next astronomical number is the quadrillion. That's how much we need, right? We're going to need 10, 20, 10 quadrillion, billion, million, billion, bazillion dollars. Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah, what he said. Yeah, I saw that Kevin Shanholster, Rainn Wilson, changed his name. That's hilarious. That was hilarious. What did he change it to? Something like Thunder, Lightning. Maybe I can find it. Maybe I can find it quickly. Hold on. I'm not finding it quickly. Oh, it was. I thought I had retweeted it or something. Anyways, it was funny. Oh, here we go. Rainn Wilson. Is it here? Can I find it? Oh, I don't know. It's taking too much time. Oh, is he's doing the Weird Al Yankovic? He's acting in the Weird Al Yankovic movie? That's funny. Okay, sidetrack. Super sidetrack. Yeah. It was funny. Let's see. Where are we at? Europe is still very warm. Oh, wait, hold on. Tim on Colin says, has anyone asked the fossil fuel companies present at the COP if they want to pitch in for loss and damage? Right. Wouldn't these be the boys to hit up? Oh, let's look at this from Peter Dines first. He says, imagine being told by the media to get yourself to the climate conferences if you want your message to be heard. Yeah, because that has clearly been working up to this point. This is the timeline of climate conferences, and this is, how hot it is now. Yeah, they've been talking about this for a long time, and it just keeps getting worse. Contrary to the people that are saying, well, they've been talking about this for a long time, and climate change never showed up. Because I refuse to pay any attention to anything that's going on in the regards of climate change. I just turn it off. That's what I do. When I hear something I don't like, I just turn it off. I just don't pay attention. That way I can be right about what I'm saying. Let's see. Europe is still very warm, of course, because nothing is happening to the climate. According to the people that, I just turn it off. Europe is heating up faster than any other continent. Only the Arctic and parts of Antarctica are warming faster. It's quite warm. This is anomalies, temperature anomalies for November, almost middle of November. And way hotter than it's supposed to be. A lot hotter than, do you guys want to see that? Sure. Boiled rope, COP98, Mars. Yes. We are interested in saving the planet Earth. Right now, it's just a big ball of dust. But we have big plans to send some spaceships back to Earth and re-inhabit the planet. And COP 987 Alpha Centauri. Let's keep it going. COP 20,000, black hole. Meet you at the black hole. All right. Oh, so this is great. I want to talk about this. Oh, first of all, we'll check. Check some coffees out. Did I get any coffees today? I have not gotten any coffees yet today, but that's a good way to support the channel. buymeacoffee.com/BlackBearNews. Or you can tip me on Rockfin, or you can hit me at the Cash App. All of these are really fine ways to support the channel. So this new Twitter thing has created some hilariousness. This is from Revolutionary Blackout Network. If this is the future of Twitter, I'm here for it. This is a fake Lockheed Martin account called Lockheed Martini, which says, we will begin halting all weapons sales to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States until further investigation into the record of human rights abuses. We are Lockheed Martin. Yes. Yes, that is awesome, right? And to I don't know if that had any effect on Lockheed Martin stock. I hope that it did. I really hope that it did. I so wish that it did, because this tweet, again by a fake account that was set up under a blue check, called Eli. It was this is a fake account for Eli Lilly and Company. They said, they tweeted out, we are excited to announce insulin is free now. Insulin is free now. Which insulin should be free. Insulin should be free. I think people will know this. They understand that insulin should be free. Life-saving medicine should be free to everyone. Period. End of story. I can pay for it. Well, who's going to pay Eli Lilly to make this medicines? Well, anyways, this tweet caused their stock to plummet. The Twitter Blue tweet just cost Eli Lilly billions. Yes. This is a thread. Incredible. This is from Investor Business Daily. Eli Lilly dives after fake Twitter account promises free insulin. Takes Novo Nordisk and Sanofi with it. Yes. Well done. Well done. Well done. This is amazing. Tanked their stock and everything. Oh, man, that's good. Boiled Rope Lamppost says Insulin Britain. Nice. 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 Touché, sir. This is beautiful. We regret to inform you that we will not be giving away insulin. This is what the official Eli Lilly said. A publicly funded invention that was given away by its creator to be given away to people so they don't die. A publicly funded invention that was given away by its creator to be given away to people so they don't die. But no, we can't do that. We have to make profits from this. Eli Lilly's stock isn't just tanking because of a satirical tweet on Musk's hellscape. It's tanking because millions of people are asking why we have to pay for insulin when it was made to be free. That's why other insulin stocks are falling too. Happy Disability Awareness Month. Yes, this is great. This is awesome. And maybe we'll add to the realization by many, many millions around the world, like that maybe what are we doing? What is happening? Why are we even agreeing to do this? Why are we? You guys are funny. The chat is quite hilarious right now. Why are we doing this? Why are we standing for this? Why are we paying for it? Why are we even doing it? I know they have you by the cojones because if you don't take your insulin, you're going to die. I understand. But what are we going to do about this? Anyways, it's a bright spot in a sea of sadness. Even the Wall Street Journal, not exactly the champion of people over profit, publicly dings Eli Lilly for its immoral price gouging of insulin. And it is immoral. Thank God, great. I hope you guys lose your shirts. I hope you lose your company. I hope your company goes bankrupt. I hope you're out on the street before morning. That's what I wish upon you. Sorry if that's mean. Sorry if that's mean. But you know, you're bad people and you should do better. And you deserve what you get. This is great. This is awesome. Apparently, Elon Musk rushed to turn off his $8 Twitter blue signs, signups. Right. Oh, oops. That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. People can be really, quite creative. Impressively creative, and that's great. Gene says Governor Gavin Newsom announced in July that he had approved a budget that would allocate $100 million to allow the state to begin making its own insulin. California could begin offering it in early 2024. I mean, that sounds really good, but I don't trust that fool for anything. Remember, California is the state every 2 years. Hey, we're going to give everybody free health care. And everybody goes, whoa, California is cool. And then about a year later, 6 months to a year later, it gets voted down by a Democrat. The pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies, they, totally derail any of this, free healthcare for everybody stuff because that's ridiculous, right? And they vote it down, and nobody even notices that they vote it down. And I've lived in California my whole life, and I've seen this for a long time. Every 2 years, hey, we're about to get free healthcare for everybody. Oh my God, California is the best. We're so progressive. Whoa, and we don't get it. So I don't believe this story, Gene. I mean, as much as I want to, I think that's okay. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Because we're supposed to be really progressive, but we end up actually not actually doing the opposite of being progressive. Okay, let's move on. Man, I was talking about the FTX thing yesterday. I'm not going to really do too much on that, but California plans to partner with Civica RX, a nonprofit generic drug company. I hope, hey, if it happens, lovely. I hope that it happens. I really want it to happen. Thank you, Gene. Thank you. No, I mean, it is interesting news. I'm just saying, I'm giving you my take on it, which is, if it happens, lovely, lovely, lovely times. I'll give a cheer for California, but they're mostly corrupt. It's a corrupt blue state. Next to some other corrupt red states, and some other corrupt blue states. I don't know. We're very corrupt. Anyways, FTX very quickly. Apparently, there was a hack, quote unquote, and millions of dollars of crypto were siphoned out of FTX exchange last night. And supposedly, the Sam Bankman-Fried is on the run to Argentina, but that is not confirmed. That is unconfirmed. So people are saying he's on the run to Argentina. Um, so I did want to cover a few other things. Let's see. Oh, this is from Peter Dines. When are they going to restrict, new building on coastal areas? When are they going to restrict new buildings beside coastal areas? Governments know these areas are going to continue to be swamped and eventually underwater. Carbon shouldn't be wasted on developing these areas. Absolutely. I agree. But when are we going to stop, we don't need any more infrastructure or any more building, period, right? So sorry, contractors, but, you've had a good run. It's cool. It's been cool. We don't need any new buildings. We need to convert the buildings we have into livable spaces, and the materials that we have into, let people just do their own thing. But yeah, these homes should just be left, taken down or left to go away, whatever. Retreat is okay. Can they get insurance on those properties? Gene asks. Yes. And yes as in no. I don't think so. Oh, did you guys see this? All right, so I'm going to jump off YouTube. Sorry, YouTubers, I know it's abrupt. We're going to Rockfin. We're going to spend the next couple of minutes on Rockfin. Thanks for hanging out with me on YouTube. But we will continue the show on Rockfin. We'll see you tomorrow at the regular time. Peace.